Hello everybody and welcome back for the L2S Tier 2 stream from Spain. Hopefully we're going to see some great racing tonight and a good quali. So the first car we've got coming out on track tonight looks like You Funny Boss, coming out on the soft tyre. Closely followed by, who is that young one? No, not young one. Roxy. I'm not sure if it has some new liveries, but looking very fresh, some of these tonight. Trying to get some nice early temperature into the tyres, but not working them too hard either. Brookski is actually following You Funny Bot quite closely actually on this early lap. Looks like we've got Ginner and Angry Orange out on track as well. Young One and Mosha has also come out. I think we might see a few medium laps. As I thought, Young One, Mosha and Ginner all on the medium tyre. Let's see how he starts his lap. A little bit wide in the final corner, but all good. A nice clean exit onto the main straight. Picked up the DRS nice and early as well. Let's see how he approaches going down into turn 1 just after the 100 metre board. Nice first two apexes. Didn't need to hit the first one, which is all good around here. And nice turn 3, keeping it tight on the exit. A nice entry into 4, opened up the corner as much as he could for the maximum speed that he could carry through there. And the exit of 5, very nice, good apex as well. Is there any issues during 6 and 7? All looking neat and tidy through there. Not quite flat, coming onto the second DRS straight, but nevertheless a very clean lap so far. Nice apex picked up as well, starting off the third sector. A very technical section this is. How you know if your car's just got enough mechanical grip and enough downforce to get through this section. And a very tidy final sector. And what is the opening lap going to be? Looks like it could be a high 15, low 16. It's 1 minute 15.9 for the first lap of the day. Brooksy is half second slower, 16.4. Let's see what. But anyone come out with a hot lap? Cyril, Young One. Okay, let's go on board with a full hot lap on the mediums then. So nice to negotiate turns 1 and 2, hopefully maybe a little bit of traffic, but I don't think it hinders him too much. And Angry Orange puts it in P2 on 16.0, also on the mediums. Nice lap there, should set him up well for the race if he can hold that position. A little bit of traffic here for Cyril. Barrett gets out of the way nicely. Nice apex through 6, 7. Making use of the toe as well from You Funny Bot. Very well utilised there. A little bit deep, but I don't think that'll cost him too much. He's carrying around a bit more momentum. Just a little bit wider the apex, however he has got time to go again. He feels like he needs to in these mediums. The open time going to be a 17.8. It puts him into the top 10, which is ideal, what he needs, especially starting the lap on. Well, for the race, shall I say. We've got Scott starting the hot lap now in a very nice green livery car actually. Full green with a couple of black. Oh, just cut a little bit in turn 2 there. Not ideal for what he wanted for that lap. Who's on a hot lap we can have a look at then? PR Oliver. He's also on the mediums. The graphic said it's on soft, so let's ignore the graphic for a little bit, shall we? Let's see focus on what's actually on the cars. Nice through turn 5, nice apex, and nice corner speed again. Just got to be careful through that sequence of corners because it's easy for the car just to swap ends completely on you. It's not what you want, especially on a quali lap or in the race. Nice braking into the final sector, needs to keep it under control now. Throttle control is probably the most important thing around here. I think he may have backed out and going for another hot lap. Let's have a look, see what he's going to do. Yeah, he backed out and going for another hot lap. So, quite a nice delivery that from PR Oliver. Took enough curb in turn 1 that opened up the entry to turn 2 as much as he could, and by doing that he's actually allowed himself to carry through more speed into the middle sector. And a very tidy middle sector there for PR Oliver. Oh, a tiny bit too much curb there and the exit, very easily done. Very unfortunate. Oh, Eskimo also invalidated, it's unfortunate for him. However, let's go on board with reflection now, coming up to turn 4. Very nice and tidy throughout both corners. It's good to see. Keeping the car nice and balanced. Oh, a little bit too much apex. And he's invalidated his lap, unfortunately. So, after the first runs, on board with Eskimo for this lap, and we'll go through the one in order. Who's on what tyre as well, which will be all important if you finish in the top 10 on that medium tyre. I think Eskimo's also backed out. Yeah. Okay, so on pole we've got Would You Rather, You Funny Bot close behind in second, Angry Orange even closer behind in third, and Brooksy are all on the soft tyres, so that could be saying to me they could be going for a 2-stop strategy in the race, or maybe going soft hards. It's a doable strategy definitely around here. We've got CDM, Young One, Ginette, Moshe, Cyril and Pro Oliver all on the mediums. However, PR Oliver has not set 100% lap time as of yet. I don't feel anyway, considering his pace from last season and the start of the season has been good. Let's see what Angry Orange can get up to on this flying lap. A lot of curb in turn 1. Had to back out a little bit before going into 3. However, he held a good line, tight line on the exit. He's matched his best personal time in sector 1. So he's currently on course for a challenge for at least P2 here. Unless he can find a little bit of time, and he might be able to challenge for P1. A little bit too hot into a tricky section. And that is a rare mistake from Angry Orange, putting it into the wall on going into a DRS straight. It's not something you like to see in qualifying, and most certainly not the race as well. as Braxton puts it in P2 on the mediums. That is a great lap there. So it should be exciting for the race if he should hold on to that position at least. Got Young One and a few others on hot laps. I think CDM's coming into the pits actually. Mosher on outlap. Should be quite nice to see actually, because we know he's definitely got the pace to put himself up at the sharp end of the grid. Nice and tidy through turns 1 and 2. Used all the track and a tiny bit more on the exit of 3. Just held it within track limits from looking at it. Nice into turn 4. Good into 5 as well. Didn't use all the roads. However, he got on the throttle nice and early still. Flat out through 9, and you see the DRS open up now, coming into the end of the second sector, into the third. The purple third middle sector, shall I be saying. So it's a very, very hot lap here from Mosher. Utilising the Griffely soft tyres now. Just ran a tiny bit hot into the chicane. Hopefully it's not costing too much, because you should see him in top 6 positions at least here, despite that error. Oh, just missed out, quite close behind considering the error he actually has, but he might have backed down to prep for another lap. Who else on out lap? Got King's Eskimo, who's on out lap. He's currently done a 1 minute 21.4 on 4 lap old medium, so I'm thinking he's running a little bit of fuel at the moment and potentially putting on the soft tyres for a hot lap towards the end. And we've still got 2 people who haven't actually set a lap. Now, we know Scott's had invalidation issues, so that's definitely understandable, and reflection. Now, could these boys potentially be looking to start in slightly further back? Oh no, Scott, stop thinking that. Jumping out into out lap. He should actually be okay for traffic as well, which is good to see. He's slightly out of sync, but as we come to the end of Eskimo's lap here, very neat and tidy, as we've come to expect from Eskimo now, and the rest of these guys as well. What is this time going to be? It's going to be competitive. Well, not Eskimo, PR Oliver, shall I be saying. P5 and a 16.2. Can't get over that time from Braxton on their mediums. Managed to sneak that in. It's a great lap. PR Oliver will be very chuffed with that lap. Get them up himself up into that top 5. So we've got people out on at the moment. So we've had CDM come out on a fresh set of softs. We've had the Young One as well. Scott's back out in the mediums, interestingly. However, on board with Ruxy here, going into turn 5. Nicely controlled, nice and early on the power as well, no wheel spin. And that's not something we usually see, something like an Alex Albon moment where he binned it in pre-season there. But as you see, would you rather gone to the top than a 15.6? So whoever I'm going on board with seems just to be crashing. Hopefully I'm not personal or anything. Hopefully not. Let's see what Scott can do. I thought Scott was going there as well from it. Cursing everyone. Watch out for the car in the middle of the track, which wouldn't be there normally. A very, very tidy sector from Scott there. Where's this put him in the run order P12? I think he might be going for another just at the end of the lap here. Nice first and second sectors of corners. Third was good. Has enough first sector, especially from the medium tyre. I just slightly invalidated. It looked like a good lap until that point as well. CDM's just put it up into P2, but he is starting on the soft tyre. That won't be a 100% benefit to him long term into the race. However, it will give him the grip off that all important start, which is very important around here, especially with that long run down to turn 1. This young one just got a little bit too much tail happy there with the accelerator. I don't think he's got enough time to go for another lap. No. Who's got left on the flyers? We've got Mosha coming into the third sector now. 8 thousandths up on his personal best, so looking like a good lap from him. Won't be enough to move him up in position as it stands, unfortunately. But let's see what he can get in this final sector here. Very neat and tidy final chicane there. Just missing out on P8, however, I think he'd be okay with that considering the time that he put in before. Maybe he could have saved a set of tyres, and Eskimo is not finishing his lap. So I think that is everybody left to run. Seems like it is. So the times that we've had so far then, come end of quali to the start of the race and the grid order is Would You Rather on a 15.6 on the mediums, CDM with a 15.7 on the softs, Braxton in third on the mediums, and with You Funny Bot, Angry Orange, PR Oliver, and Young One, Brutsky and Mosha all on the soft tyre. And Jenna is the third and final car to be starting on the mediums within the top 10. Then we've got Cyril Scratch Duo 02 on the mediums, along with Scott, Eskimo, and Reflection, who has not set a lap time. It's quite an interesting quali there. A lot of people actually opt in for that soft tyre. So I'm not sure if they're thinking about going for maximum grip on the start, but I can't think that they would want to be making a 2-stop work around here, especially with them 3 guaranteed on mediums. It'd be a nice simple 1-stop race, I would imagine, with the 1-2 on mediums. So as we just wait for the timer to slowly count down, as it always seems to in this game. It could be a very tight battle between CDM and Would You Rather going down into that first corner with that soft tyre advantage, and also You Funny Bot and Braxton as well potentially being side by side because of the same tyre offset. So what could we see at the start of this race? nobody knows, but I know for sure it'll definitely be an exciting one. So I hope everyone enjoys the race, and let's see what happens. It's definitely looking like a dry race, which I think would please a few people. However, the garage just caught me out first because it looked very wet, but track looks definitely bone dry with the sun shining down on it for today's race of 33 laps around Catalonia in Spain. We've got a safety car start, should I say. Well, I should say a formation lap to get us underway today. So, the people who are 11th, 12th, 13th and 14th have all chosen their tyres now for the start of the race. They're all on mediums apart from Scott, who was hoping to maybe push through the field on them soft tyres. But I just don't think he's going to want to do that two-stop. So soft hards, it'll be a push towards the end of the race. However, anything can happen in Formula 1, as we all know. So there are some nice liveries out on show today. All green car from Braxton. And the orange seem to take up a purpley blue look. Hopefully we are going to see a very nice and tidy getaway. The front two seems to actually stretch the formation lap a little bit, so hopefully they're not took anywhere out of their tyres, because that can be a key factor on the start. But more importantly, it's hope they're all up to temperature, because if they're not in their mediums, it could be a very, very difficult getaway, especially for the first and thirds. However, they are on the more rubber that side of the grid, as that is the racing line, going down into turn 1 and down the main straight. Wait for the back half of the field to all line up onto their grid slots, and then we should be all good to start the second race of the season for L2S. And the lights starting to come on now, so everyone's going to be getting up to the correct revs, and away we go. Quite actually an even start by the front two, but CDM's just got the inside line. Oh, there's a little bit of contact there between Would You Rather and CDM. I think he's DNF'd immediately from the race straight into the barrier, and Brooksy, not too sure what's happened there, but we've got VSC very early on. And we've got our first penalty of the race as well, Jeanette and Young One. That might have been a little bit of bunching up once that VSC come out, because it can snap in really quickly and catch people out. And Young One seems to have been left as well. So a few retirements early on the first lap, not what we want to see, but it is racing. Unfortunately, these things can happen. Quite the gap building up behind Cyril Scraps. Well, in front of him, should I say. Alright, and the VSC is now disappeared. Oh, we've got a spinner, you funny bot. He's spun it round. but the front two have managed to get away nice and cleanly. They've got a 2.2 second gap behind Angry Orange. And as I thought, the predicted tyre strategy is a one-stop medium to hards. And whether the soft tyre runners can match that remains to be seen. I've got someone in the pits, Mosher. Is it you funny bot coming in as well? No, he's carrying on. As we've got the usual timing glitch here of everyone not being in the right positions. Oh, Scott's gone off. It's unfortunate, not sure where everyone is, unfortunately, as it stands. I think Scott will be down in P9. Yeah. So currently on board with Reflection here, trying to hunt down King's Eskimo. Just a little bit of time between them. So let's see what we can get out of it. 7 tenths behind. DRS won't be enabled this lap, but it will be enabled for the following lap. And that's where we're going to see most of the overtaking done. So it'll be down into turn 1, through turn 3, and potentially down the second DRS straight as well. And we've got Woody Rather putting in the fastest lap of the race with Braxton out at the front. So those two are going to be hoping to put a nice gap to the rest of the field now. Make that medium tyre strategy work. We've got Reflection making the move to the inside on King's Eskimo. He's made it pretty comfortably there, so maybe Eskimo slightly backed off, looking to stay with him, to not lose too much time here, because that is very key early on in these races, especially with the big gaps. Further up, we've got PR Oliver on the soft tyre, and Angry Orange pretty much those three, half second separating them at the moment as it stands. And let's see if PR Oliver can get close enough. Maybe set himself up going down to the first corner to make a move stick. That's a bit of a gap coming into the final sector, but he should get DRS for the following lap due to the obviously because of the VSC being out. You won't be getting it until lap 4, which will be coming up now. Time graphics line a little bit there, saying Eskimo and Reflection spot positions. However, I think everyone's starting just to settle in now to a nice, calm, relaxing rhythm. Everyone's thinking long run for the game, and let's just hope that everyone manages to keep it clean for the rest of the race, because it definitely looks like an exciting one, especially with the split strategies. The front two on mediums, they've got a nice gap behind. I mean, what's the delta to the lead? 5.2 from Angry Orange to Woody Rather. So it's a good enough range if they can keep the soft tyres alive for long enough to hopefully match the leaders in strategy, which will make it interesting. So I said Angry Orange, PR Oliver on softs, and then behind them, just a few seconds behind, we've got Jeanette, Cyril Scrat, Reflection and Eskimo all on the mediums. The gaps are starting to form now between the guys behind. So it's the closest battle we've got out on track at the moment. It looks like it's You Funny Bot and Scott M89. Oh, I think Scott made a mistake there. It's very uncharacteristic for him. Hopefully he can regroup and try and stick to the DRS and hopefully try and get past and make a move into turn 1. Which would definitely help his race after that unfortunate spin early on. It's got a little bit of a gap. Let's see what's happening slightly further ahead. I believe we did have Jeanette, who was battling to get past someone. And I might have took some damage there as well. Safety car has come out. It's from Mosher. I'm not too sure what happened there. Very unfortunate for him. So as we cut onto lap 5 and start coming under the safety car, we might have obviously made the most positions so far, and the best start of the race was actually reflection on them on the medium tyres, so he tried to keep his nose clean early on because there was a bit of contact between the front two, I believe. It's what we see on our screens anyway, and he managed to get through there nice and neat. Along with Sil Scrat as well, managed to keep his nose very, very clean with them medium tyres. Key for their race for the pair of them, because that would be very tough. As we see 2 cars coming in ahead of Angry Orange, PR Oliver, wanting to get rid of that soft tyre as early as they can, because that would not be helping them as they put on the mediums. And Jenna's now DNS as well. My question is now we're going to be seeing Funny Bot and Scott yet. Everyone's going to be on the medium tyres. The front 4 are yet to pit, so they're going to have a little bit of wear on their tyres, but it will certainly help them to extend their stints as well, to make life a bit easier on them hards compared to them behind on fresher medium tyres. But during the safety car, the person this has helped out the most, you'll have to say, would be King's Eskimo. He was a little bit further back than where he would probably have hoped for, but he chose the correct strategy for what he wants to do anyway, as there is a high tendency for safety cars, especially around Spain, and he's made it work, coming from towards the rear of the grid up into P4. Good track position on a track that is very notoriously hard to overtake on, especially if you've not got at least a 1.5 pace advantage to make them move stick. That's nice, that livery that as well from Eskimo. Very nice and original. Waiting for the last 2 cars to join the back of the safety car queue of Funny Bot and Scott, and hopefully the safety car should be coming in for the start of lap 8. Which is the perfect strategy to do to catch the other person sleeping. Oh, and Vaz will go off. It's like Cyril Scratch. going to kick off pretty big with overtaking the field this race. We've got Reflection on the rear of King's Eskimo now, coming on to the final corner. He's on the ERS, and he's going to sail straight past on the outside. And we've got Scott also looking for a move on Reflection. However, he was a little bit too far back from looking at it to want to make the move stick. But he's been sticking behind and staying in the DRS. As we've had Cyril Scrap come into the pits for a new set of tyres. Whether there was contact from that safety car restart, I don't think we're going to find out for a while after the race. However, he's going back into the medium soft tyre, so he's definitely got to pit at least once again, which isn't ideal for his race. Angry Orange has managed to make the break from King's Eskimo. He's managed to pull a 1.2 second gap to him, so hopefully he can just keep the car in a nice straight line and try and build a gap now to the cars behind. As we know, Eskimo is on 6 lap older tyres. It's been tough for him to keep up with the pace once the tyre drag starts to kick in for him. And at the front, as you can see, Would You Rather is pushing on the pace very hard again now. An 18.0, which is just what he needed. And Eskimo is getting past again on the straight, but he's not using the ERS, so you might think more of the long game here. If he can stay close enough for the DRS, potentially make a move back going into turn, well, not into the third sector, or maybe into turn 1 if you can stick close enough. However, it looks like Reflection's already starting to push that pace on, as the gap is nearly up to a second now, and Eskimo is having to defend quite heavily from Scott. And the funny part is why pick up a 3-second tyre penalty, I believe that was, for exceeding track limits too many times. You don't be doing that too many times throughout the race, 3 of them, and you'll be yourself getting a 3-second penalty from the stewards, which can affect your race massively. As we've seen in the first race of the season, people moving all over the place. However, as we go back to the battle here between Eskimo and Scott, a half-second behind. Eskimo won't get the advantage of DRS either from Reflection, which I think he desperately needs. But he looks like he got a good enough drive out that final corner. But I think Scott is just going to come straight by from looking at it. DRS. And it was a good move really down to turn 1. However, Eskimo is still picking up good, strong points here. So you think he might just be keeping it clean and tidy and hoping of some more instance which could potentially happen. Or maybe another safety car to get him back into it. You see Sil scrapped. He's took his car straight off. Looks like he spun it final corner. However, let's go back on board with the leaders. The gap is now 1.5 seconds. So the gap is starting to come down just a little bit now between the leaders. But you've got to say, Would You Rather does look very much in control of this race. Cyril Scrap illegally parked. Looks like it going into the old final section of the track. It's not what we wanted to be seeing in today's race. And Reflection is at the back. Now I'm not sure what happened there. He might have lost it going through turn 7 and 8. An easy place to lose it. However, he has fell behind PR Oliver, but they're still not too far off from the rest of the field. So who's on an alternate on the first strategy anyway? We've got Eskimo, Braxton and Would You Rather. So as it stands, Would You Rather's only just got enough delta time to cover Reflection. However, he might still be losing that position going down into that first corner with that massive overspeed that Reflection would be holding. So I think he needs to hold up for another 4 laps potentially if the tyres can do it. It's going to be a very, very tough ask for these mediums, but it's most certainly doable. Let's go on board with Angry Orange now. He's starting to slowly close up towards second place man. 1.3 behind. Be interesting to see if he can do anything, or is he just holding on and waiting for them to pit. So everyone seems very spaced out tonight. It's not too much side by side. Everyone's starting to spread out now. However, I believe we will start to see some pit stops in the next 3 laps, I believe. So watch out for Would You Rather, Braxton and King's Eskimo all coming into the pits. Swap them medium tyres for the hards potentially. Never know, they could still go off and do a 2-stop run, which would be interesting to see as to how that would work for them. But as we did see there, Angry Orange did transgress track limits a few too many times, and he's picked himself up a 3-second time penalty. So he's going to be even more fired up now to try and get into the top 2. However, he has got the delta time behind with that time penalty due to YouFunnyBot also having it, but I don't think Angry Orange is the sort of person to settle for a P3. Let's see what he can do. I believe he might be a touch too far back now, going into turn 1. Yeah, he's going to set himself up. He might just be waiting for these guys to pit and then hitting it very heavy on the tyres. Use whatever life is left in them and push on very heavy. Clearly got a lot of confidence in the car as well as Angry Orange. He's managed to stay within the dirty air Braxton and not sliding around too much, not losing too much air as you're looking at it. Just a general dirty wash that you would expect. He's not losing time through the corners either. So to me, he's definitely got a little bit more pace, but he needs to keep it as close as he can coming out of the final chicane and get the run onto the main straight and see if he can make a move sticking down into turn 1. Oh, that's made his life a little bit easier. Braxton's coming through the pits now, and that has released Angry Orange to try and release some of the pace that we know he's got. The gap at the moment is 3.8 seconds between the front two, so let's see if Angry Orange can make a dent into that gap at all. If not looking at it, Braxton has chosen the 2-stop race tonight. No matter what happens, he's put on another set of mediums. He's just coming out, from looking at it, just behind Reflection. That's actually quite interesting, because Would You Rather should definitely be able to pit ahead of Reflection, and just behind PR Oliver, because he wants to be stuck behind people with fresher tyres to try and push his way through. And the question is what we're all after now: can Braxton actually make them tyres work and push on? Because he's got to find 20 seconds now to Angry Orange. It's going to be very tough on a track that you can't overtake on too much really, especially if you are stuck behind someone with dirty air. Well, slight lock up there from Reflection, but he managed to make the apex okay. Very renowned to a Monaco section of track this, because you just can't make a move stick. You've just got a case of follow the leader until you can get a good enough drive coming up now, and manage to make that DRS stick along the ERS. Let's see if he's close enough to make a move. Looks like he most certainly is. And to the inside, make it nice and easy. No major battle there from Reflection. And now he seems to try pushing on, catch up with PR Oliver, where the gap is 3.4 seconds. So the penalty situation at the moment, just under halfway. Angry Orange, You Funny Bots and PR Oliver, all on 3-second time penalties. So as it stands, I don't believe anyone would be losing the position as it stands. However, Braxton is closing. Oh, what's happened up at the front here? It looks like Angry Orange is spun it. Has he lost his front wing there? He has lost his whole front wing. It's unfortunate for his race. Hopefully he can get back into the pits with no more issues, put on the hard tyres and try and make a push to the end of the race. However, that was very unfortunate from Angry Orange. Lucky to not DNF the car there. So that's promoted Scott up into P3, and You Funny Bot is managed to find himself up in P2. Which is brilliant for his race. However, Braxton is now set the fastest lap of the race on a 17.8, 2 tenths quicker than the race leaders. The leaders set just a few laps to go after the safety car restart. But I think you've got to say that it's pretty much handed Would You Rather a nice tasty gap now. With 16 laps to go, and 16 laps completed on these tyres. The 16 at the end of this lap anyway. We've got to think that Would You Rather could be stretching it maybe. Maybe try and look to put soft tyres on, same as Eskimo. It would be a bold move, but it could be a move that could be worthwhile towards the end of the race. As we've seen, PR Oliver is now getting into the DRS of King's Eskimo within that 1 second window, and we've got Would You Rather is coming to the pits. I think he'll have to put on the hard tyres here, as he won't have enough grip in them soft tyres, quite frank, to get to the end of the race. He's gone for another set of mediums. Maybe the tyre wear could have been a touch high for him then. However, he's just on the exit of the pits now. It's going to be a 2-wide situation. And PR Oliver managed to make the move stick, not just on King's Eskimo, but he managed to make it stick on Would You Rather as well, which is a brilliant piece of opportunistic driving there. But he has run out of ERS, and Would You Rather's going to slide back up the inside. It's a good recovery there from Would You Rather, managed to get that pace back as quick as he can. Slightly further behind, we've got Braxton, who's starting to close in King's Eskimo now. The closest battle's out on track. Would You Rather suspected to pull away from PR Oliver, then fresher tyres. Expecting Braxton to start closing up on these two. And Scott has had a big incident there. Safety car. Wow. So I think he must have just clipped too much curb on the exit. That's really unfortunate for him. However, that's going to annoy Would You Rather a little bit. Because if You Funny Bot can get a good stop now, I know for sure you could be tempted to put on the soft tyres and potentially go to the end here. Braxton's coming back in as well, start on mediums, makes sense. And You Funny Bot is put on the hard tyre, where's going to come out? Up in P3. Eskimo banking on another safety car, surely not. Like everyone is put on the hard tyre. Now Angry Orange is going to be very thankful for this safety car coming out. I can tell you that for certain now. After that unfortunate spin in the last sector, he's now back into the race. After making another stop, however, two of his rivals ahead with Would You Rather and Eskimo, you would say, have definitely got to pit again. And You Funny Bot, PR Oliver, Braxton and Reflection are all on the hard tyre, so you would expect him to have a little bit of a pace advantage, especially over them early on. just waiting for the last few cars to catch up, but I don't think we're going to get racing this lap. Let's see if safety cars lights, no, they're still on. So if I was Eskimo, I would be coming into the pits this lap. Put on that soft tyre potentially if he thinks he's got the grip to get to the end of the tyre life. Because if he has, that could work wonders for him. But I don't think he wants to put on them hard tyres. Looking at how he's stretching this, I mean that's left 14 when we cross the line. It's going to be tight for the soft tyre, and he is spots along with Would You Rather, and it's quite a late call out for Would You Rather, like, rather to that. Been quite shocked by. What's happened here? You funny bot. He must have just took too much curb. Has he got a front wing still? Yeah. Just took too much curb. Would You Rather and Eskimo have both pitted onto the soft tyres. This is brilliant to see. So we're going to have we've got a bunch of very quick guys now. All three tyre compounds in play. The front two on the hards, the final two on the quicker but less durable soft tyre. So I don't think they can go all out quali lap pace. But we'll wait and find out, because I just don't think that tyre will hold on at full pace to the end of the race, especially compared to the mediums, never mind the hard tyre. We've still got those three with 3-second time penalties. PR Oliver is going to need to make a break for it. There's no Braxton is very quick, seemingly on the mediums. He holds fastest lap as it stands. Yes, he does hold fastest lap. So he's going to want to put a move on PR Oliver going into that turn 1. As you can see there, the safety car is in this lap. You've got a funny spot. Drop he's dropped down to P7. Not quite too sure what's happened there. Maybe a mistake behind the safety car warming his tyres up. But anyway, as we're on board with Pierre Oliver, we're going to watch the second safety car restart now. He's doing a lot of weaving to get some temperature into the tyres, so he looks like he's ready to go right on the exit of this chicane. Ooh, very smart move. And he went just about midway through that final corner, which I think caught a few guys off guard behind. We're seeing any moves kicking off behind. Not quite. However, everyone, I believe, did get through nice and clean. But Would You Rather has come all the way up around the outside of Reflection. It's a great move on the exit of turn 3. Just put enough pressure on Reflection, force him into a mistake, and he's managed to make that move stick. It's great to see. As we see Braxton and Angry Orange now trusting very hard. We know that Would You Rather is now on that soft tyre. We know the pace is going to be incredibly high off these guys now. Look at the gap they've already started to pull as well. I mean, they're pushing on very, very hard early on here. What you can see that extra mechanical grip that soft tyre has given Would You Rather in this final sector, where it's most noticeable, probably up to 6/10 a lap potentially, just in this section. But Angry Orange has got a great run. Braxton looks like he's on the ERS. Are we going to see a move from Angry Orange here? Not quite. But Would You Rather's made the move. Oh, with the side by side, them two. Looks like all got through there nice and clean. And Would You Rather managed to make the move stick. Next up is Braxton. It's not going to be the easiest people to pass, but of that pace advantage, soft to hard tyre is quite a big delta. If I was Angry Orange, I'd be sitting in behind Would You Rather now and just be thinking, oh, that PR Oliver's made a very innocent mistake there. It's very unfortunate. This is now the battle for the race lead, and Would You Rather's managed to make it stick. Angry Orange seemingly pushed his way through as well, and that's Reflection, who has lost it as well. Coming into Sector 3. Looks like them hard tyres are very hard to warm up. The question's been similar to the last race now. Can the leader pull away on that tyre that they're on the softer tyre that is, and keep enough of a gap to the end of the race to make it stick? The back two got damaged, doesn't look like it, so they got away with it, which is good to see. Braxton hasn't been dropped by Angry Orange, which is good to see. He's managed to keep close to him. He's still within DRS as well, as that has now been enabled. We've seen who picked up one on that lap. I believe it was Braxton and Angry Orange, which unfortunately picked up his 6-second time penalty. So really, he needs to be pushing on very quickly now. He needs to not only find 3 seconds, he needs to make sure that Eskimo can't make advantage of that soft tyre as well, and start challenging as it would be for P3. Scrap that actually, it'd be for P2. All that Eskimo's got to do is hope that Braxton can stay within 3 seconds of Angry Orange, and Eskimo's just got to keep in touch with Braxton for 3 seconds. He doesn't even have to make a move, stick here. So this is very encouraging for him, but as we expected, Would You Rather has now made a move to put the race to bed now. So we go on board with PR Oliver against Reflection. PR Oliver has got DRS. He's looking to making the move stick down into turn 1. Nicely controlled on the inside line. Oh, he's took 2 more. It's very unfortunate there from PR Oliver and Reflection. PR Oliver just took a little bit too much curb, and he unfortunately spun, and Reflection just had nowhere to go, unfortunately. It's not the sort of thing you like to see, however, these things do happen when no one's kind of at fault, and it's just one of them racing incidents, unfortunately. But we did see Angry Orange getting a little bit out of shape there, so I wonder if that's something similar to happen to Scott, if we've not seen anything to do with that incident. Surely that's only got to fill Braxton with confidence now that he can keep the pressure on Angry Orange, and hopefully try and make a move stick. And that's another penalty for Angry Orange, who's now found himself in 9 seconds worth of time penalties. So as it stands, where would that put him back to now? 12 seconds from the leader. I'll put him down to P5. So Eskimo, or King's Eskimo should I say, it's looked like he's in a good position here. I'm not quite sure what's going on because he has dropped a bit of pace. Has he got any damage maybe? No. While PR Oliver's just coming into the pits, it looks like he just come in a bit too hot as well. He's being left unfortunately. Reflections followed him in as well, pitting for new tyres. I'm sure it won't be the soft tyre now for Reflection yet. So the final 2 places on the podium looks like it's given between Angry Orange and Braxton here. After a strong race from a lot of these guys in the previous race, let's see what these guys can do now in the closing stages where there's a lot of moves made last week. Will we be seeing the same from these two again this week, I wonder? Braxton's keeping it nice and close to Angry Orange. He knows that he's not on the quicker tyre, but he is on the more durable tyre, so he just needs to stick in there. As we see Reflection pick up another time, well, his first time penalty of the race. So he needs to try and keep it clean now. However, he is a little bit far behind, and he's hoping for a safety car, but he is going to be picking up good, strong points for P6. So it's a good race result considering the carnage that is kicked off at times, especially on lap 1. Can we see if Braxton's actually physically closing up, maybe in the tighter sections? He closed up initially, and then he seemed just to drop off just a little bit on coming onto the traction zone. And as we can see, Braxton has got less DRS to play with as well. So it's very intelligent driving here from Angry Orange. Just using the tyres, using the grip, and not overly trying to kill the tyres off, let's say. Just keeping them in check and just managing the gap. However, he needs to find 5.5 seconds to keep that position, which is his only struggle right now. So I wonder when we're going to see him fully pull the pin on them tyres and just go all hell's loose for P2 maybe? Or are we just going to see him hold off, look at the gap to Eskimo and think, I'll settle for P3 today, it's been a crazy race. But we're going to find out sooner or later as we're on lap 27 out of 33. As the front three are coming into the final section of the track now. Nice and tidy from P2 and P3 yet again. But it looks like Braxton just can't get enough traction to get within half a second coming out of that final corner. However, he might be thinking of a move coming on now, 3 camps behind. Oh, just ran out of roads, unfortunately for him there. Oh, what's happened there? It looks like Angry Orange might have went in a bit too hot. He's had to concede the position, which seems very odd indeed. However, I think he might just be holding on to P3 now from looking at it. But I'm not quite sure what happened there. It's very odd to see. And just behind these two, we have got You Funny Bot and King's Eskimo. It looks like the gap is fairly stable there at 3.1 seconds. It's staying around that gap majority of the time. And we've got Reflection, who currently pits 55 seconds behind, but as I said earlier, he needs a safety car desperately now. Maybe could go for fastest lap, try and steal the extra points off Would You Rather. It definitely helps the championship hopes, because every point matters at the end of the day, especially in the final race. You Funny Bot's picked up yet another time penalty. If it goes on at this rate, with penalties, we could see Would You Rather and Eskimo P1 and P2. How people are just slightly getting too many penalties and running the limits a touch too much for the FIA's liking. It's just what we want to be seeing, but the racing drivers, and they're going to use all the track possible that is actually there for them. So I think Angry Orange might try to pull this off against King's Eskimo. So currently at 8.9 seconds, and the gap's been slowly building lap after lap. It's just tipped over 9 seconds now. So let's see if they can hold the gap there and try and build a slightly bigger gap. If these two start to battle, it might not be in the best interests of either of them really. It could, one, end in collision. But two, with the amount of laps left, Angry Orange will need a lot of pace to try and build up that 6 second delta required to keep the position. As we go on board now with Angry Orange, Look round the outside, no route there. Good defender from Braxton taking the inside line, but did compromise him a touch. However, he's managed to hold the line nice and tight there. Looking to the outside of 5 now. Braxton covered it off nice and well there. Very, very nice and intelligent drive from Braxton. Just covering off that defensive, like the attacking line almost, to stop a lunge from happening. Coming to the second DRS zone now. DRS, I don't think he'd be making a move here. As you can see the flashing light now on Braxton's car, that would tell him, look, car ahead is low on DRS. Make the move where it's safe to do so. And I think that's exactly what he's planning to do here. And that's exactly what's going to happen, I feel. Would you rather made the move, but Angry Orange made the move pretty easy, you felt there. I think Braxton realised what was at stake and he just stuck with it. So Eskimo holding down P4 pretty nicely now. Doesn't look like he's under threat from anyone from behind, most certainly. You've only got, I think, pitting again, 27 seconds behind. And we've got Reflection down in P6. Look, to 4th, 5th and 6th looks pretty solid at the moment. So does P1 as well. Unless an incident happens, I mean, you never know. We have seen a few instances so far during this race. I think it'd be safe to say that Braxton should be finishing ahead of Angry Orange as well. I mean, these time penalties, I think Braxton just needs to make a mistake for Angry Orange to keep P2 now. But I don't see that happening. He's had very strong pace across the medium and hard tyre ranges today. But would you rather, on that final safety car, just made the very intelligent move, put on the soft tyres and just push to the stage now where he can almost just back off a little bit, not stress the tyre out too much, but just keep enough grip to keep him on his toes. So on the penultimate lap now, Braxton wants to finish on the road ahead of Angry Orange. He needs to make it stick into turn 1. It's going to be his final opportunity, you feel, for this race. But he knows it's not a move that needs making. As you see, Youth Wonny Bot picking up the extra point for fastest lap there. Taking a crucial point as it could be towards the end of the season off Would You Rather. Not quite close enough from Braxton there, but that's not the main overtaking spot. He'd be eyeing up. He'd be looking up the overtaking spot in turn 1, but I think he's just dropping a touch too far behind. He's closed up a little bit in the second half of the final sector, but he's just dropped off massively on the traction zone. Let's see if he can close up at all here. 2 tenths, 3, 4, just not quite enough, half seconds, closing up there. So as it stands, final lap, Would You Rather is pulled away 6 seconds from Angry Orange, who pitted under the safety car for the soft tyres. A very smart and intelligent move there, and his tyres are slightly younger as well, as the others pitted under racing conditions or at the start of the safety car. Got Braxton, who's on 13 lap hard, and very well to stay with Angry Orange. We've got Eskimo in P4, who pitted under the safety car. Fridge soft tyres didn't quite have the same impact as Would You Rather. It's a little bit surprising, but he knows it's a long season. He's consolidating in that position. Youth Wonny Bot and Reflection both had instances during the race, I feel, and both pitted fresh softs to try to go fastest lap. But a brilliant race from Would You Rather, leading the early stages, controlling the race, controlled the first safety car restart, and made a brilliant decision to pit under safety car for them soft tyres to win the race today. Braxton finished 10 seconds behind in P2. He had a good, tough battle with Angry Orange, which was great to see. Good battle between the pair of them all race long, pretty much. We've got Eskimo down in P4. Quite a lonely last quarter of the race for Eskimo, but he brought home some solid points in a race that seemed just a survival of the fittest almost, with quite a lot retiring from the race. Only 6 finishers here today. We've got Funibot, who's now crossed the line for P5. Solid race, kept his nose clean. Very good race, very tough race for a lot of these drivers as well. And the final car to come across the line, you have to say, was quite unfortunate actually with that incident with PR Oliver, but racing incidents happen and you just can't avoid it sometimes. So there's your race of Catalonia, Spain today, guys. Let's wait for the final standings to get the confirmed times, and King's Eskimo has picked up driver of the day. There was a great race from Eskimo with the first safety car, staying out on the hard tyre, and he made it work for him. But a great race from Would You Rather. Managed to make the tyres work at all times and control a lot of the pace really, which is great to see from him. So anyway guys, thank you for watching this week, and we'll be seeing you back at the same time next Thursday around Monaco. Should be a very exciting race. From looking at that, everyone's got good pace in the final sector, so it should be a cracker. See you next week, guys.